Thank you for inquiring about towel colors on wovens and how colors are used on wovens. Custom woven towels can have a virtually unlimited number of colors, as is evidenced on this towel. I believe there's close to 40 colors on this towel. What can't happen, though, is there's a very heavy restriction in how towels are laid out. What you need to notice is the hems on this towel are at each end. What happens with a towel is we ideally want to put no more than 2 colors in what's called a pick line. So not to confuse everyone, but across this towel, if you could imagine pulling a string tight, end to end, there would be approximately 530 strings that would go up and down, up and down, up and down. Each one of those strings could be any 2 colors you want. The next string over could be, say, a different colors, different set of colors, different set of colors. What we don't want to do is to put a string that has 3 colors in it. So what that allows us to do is, even with that restriction, we can do some tremendous design work. This color, as far as our loom is concerned, is considered a 2-color towel, even though, as I say, you're looking at close to 40 colors on it. Some of the things that end up happening here, here's a caddy towel. I don't know if this is going to pan out in the thing, but again, from top to bottom, from the hem to hem, there's never more than 2 colors in a pick line. So we go royal and white, switches over to garnet and natural, goes over to all garnet, back to royal and white. That's the kind of pinstriping we can do. This is what's run on our, we have multiple looms, so each loom is, again, running from hem to hem. So on our 16-inch wide loom, which can be 16 by literally any length, that's the way the pick lines run, and that's the color restriction. Now on our 24-inch loom, it allows us to take a towel that historically kind of looks the same, but if you notice the hems now, I'm going to pull this one out of the way, are the other way. So that's how the pick lines run. So now this is still a 2-color towel. So if you look at it from top to bottom, we're blue, and then we're blue and tan, blue and burgundy. We go to natural and blue, and then once again picking up pinstriping here. But this is still just a 2-color towel as far as the loom is concerned. Another thing about jacquard towels that you should always know is that the back side of the towel is a reverse image of the front. So when I flip that over, it's literally a reverse of what you saw on the front. So that's just a little aside. So what I want to show that happens now is that this is that, again, we've kept this towel to 2 colors. The quality on the towel is excellent. Basically what happens is when the loom is running, if the natural color is up, in this case the navy is down. So if navy's up, natural's down. If natural's up, navy's down. So it's an exact mirror image on the opposite side. What happens if you can imagine if there's a 3rd color required in here, and this is an example of, again, a 16-inch towel that has 3 colors in it. Right off the bat, I don't know if you can zoom in or see this, but the front of the towel you can see more what we call grinning. That is, if you sort of bend these things, you see a gap between those pick lines. Because what ends up happening when the loom is running this towel has both blue, white, and burgundy in it. So when the loom starts to run this row, if blue is up, it has to do something with the burgundy and the white. So it puts it to the back. And if you notice, there's 2 colors to the back. So basically, if you could look at it another way, there's 1 stitch up, 2 stitches down. So for every 1 stitch up, you have 2 stitches down. It almost makes it look like we, for lack of a better word, ripped you off on the cotton. We didn't put as much on the front, but what we've ended up doing is doubling up the amount on the back. It just really muddies up the towel. Although the quality is still acceptable for most applications, we really strongly recommend that you avoid it where you can, because it does degrade the overall look of the towel. The crispness of the lettering is not as good, because instead, I'd mentioned earlier about having a little over 530 pick lines across a 16-inch towel. We've basically reduced those number of pick lines by 1/3 because of the extra requirement and space that's needed to have that extra stitch in there. So once again, you try to avoid it where you can. If this could be got right on top, you actually start seeing the background color bleed through on it. It may not show too much up on the camera, but once again, it can be done, but we highly recommend that you avoid it. This particular problem we call grinning.